What's up YouTube, J-Dub here, bringing you guys a new video. So this is a deck that I've been brewing up for a while, like a good long while, but for a while I just couldn't get my hands on one of the cards for it, but I finally kind of have it because of the Dark World Structure deck. And another card I've been meaning to pick up, I haven't ever really picked up. I couldn't until the reprint and the tins. And even after the reprint, I kind of just took forever to pick it up. So this is Trap Machina. This is like a pure Machina deck, but it's a control deck. So let's get into it. So starting off, we have obviously the main starter being 3 gear frame. Just normal summon, get a Machina monster. Your main target with this is to go into one of your 2 copies of Unclasp Bar. So you go gear frame into Unclasp Bar, Unclasp Bar summons itself, and then you make Gear Gigant, and then you can either, well, this then pitches a Machina, so then you make a Gear Gigant off these 2, and then basically get a search or recycle. So that's one of your main little combos to start off. You know, you want your traps to basically get you to where you want to go. It's kind of like a mid-range-esque deck, because you can control in the early game and then just like hit for a shit ton of damage late game. But you want to have your advantage engine off of this stuff, your searching and whatnot, and then have your traps to back you up to get to your end goal of being able to hit for a shit ton of damage and just overwhelm your opponent with the advantage that you've gotten while you're also controlling them. So that's one thing that's really interesting about this deck, because it's a control deck, but it's also a mid-range-esque deck. So moving on, we have 2 copies of Fortress. Fortress is just a really good recurable beater. If it's targeted, rips a card out of your opponent's hand. If it's destroyed, it pops something. God, my voice just doesn't want to work tonight. More advantage engine being your 3 metal crunchers. This is basically just, if you don't open your gear frame, you summon this, reveal 3 gear frame, and get your gear frame. Like, you don't really need 3 of this. I'm just playing it as a 3 of right now. But you could ultimately like cut this down to like 2 copies, or even 1 copy if you really wanted to, because you don't really necessarily need this card. He's also just a really good way to summon something else that I'm playing. Let's just see. 2 copies of Citadel. Normally, I'd only ever advocate for playing 1 copy, but in the current format with people playing DD Crow and playing stuff like DD Crow and the Ishizu stuff, you want to be able to have your multiple copies of Citadel, especially because DD Crow, because if they banish one of these off of a DD Crow, you're just like really sad at that point, because then you don't have your recyclable board wipe. So that's why you do play 2 right now. But if it comes to a format to where you don't need to play 2, like say DD Crow sees a lot less play and whatnot, or the Bysteals get hit and whatnot. Well, not the Bysteel, sorry, the Ishizu stuff. Which even then, like, the Ishizu stuff doesn't really hurt as much as I'm thinking about when I'm actually making this, because the Ishizu stuff just shuffles it back, so it doesn't make you lose it. But with so many people playing DD Crow right now for the Ishizu stuff and the tier limit matchup, that's why I'm still playing 2 right now. That's why I'm playing 2 this right now. 1 Cruncher, 1 Rune Force. This card is really cool, being able to just bring it out and have a big beater and negate stuff in the battle phase. He is kind of not that great right now because he is a dark, so he does give your opponent like more Bysteel targets, which is another thing with Metal Cruncher, because he's a dark. God fucking damn, Unclasp Bar. Not Metal Cruncher, Unclasp Bar. That is another thing with him, because he is a dark. He does give your opponent targets for their Bysteals, but he's just too damn good not to play. And then the 1 card that I was just mentioning that I couldn't pick up until the tin reprint, and then even after the tin reprint, I kind of slacked on getting, is the 3 Lord of the Heavenly Prisons. This card is awesome. Only bad thing is he's a dark, so he does give you dark targets for your opponent's Bysteals. But just that 3,000 booty, being able to protect your back row, because like I said, you want your traps to get you into late game so you can make your big combo pushes. And I say big combo pushes, but they're not even really big combo pushes. They're more just like putting a bunch of damage on board, using a Citadel to wipe your opponent's board, or already have your opponent's board cleared because of all your traps, and then just poking through for a shit ton of damage and pretty much OTKing your opponent, but like on turn like 8. 3 redeployment. I will still argue that this is the single best, one of the single best search cards in the game for a deck, like, because it just does so much. 3 extravagance, because you do not really give a shit about your extra deck besides your copies of Gigagan. And even some of your rank 10s, you can make them, but you really don't ever need to. But so, yeah, so 3 pot of extravagance, because pot of greed, basically. I am playing 3 Dark Ruler no more, because you could turn off your opponent's board and then break it with Citadel. So that's cool. Then for traps, you got 3 Overdrive. This card is fucking broken, and it is insane. This card just does so much. It just gets you to where you need to go, gets your Machinas out of your deck, triggers your Citadel because it destroys, it recycles, it does so much. This card is amazing. I wish this card had a foil printing. 3 copies of Skill Drain, because when the skill is drained, it's good, right? 3 goes in match, because a lot of what you do is just earth, so you can pretty much just sit on some earth machines and just do some fun stuff with that. Trench of Tribute, because what's more fun than wiping off your opponent's board and also getting a 3,000 that can wipe them again. And then last but not least, triple Solemn Strike, because more stuff to tell your opponent, hey, guess what? Fuck you. So that's it for the main deck. It's 40 cards. Like I said, there's some stuff you wouldn't need to play, but I'm just playing it right now to try it out, see how it does. Like I said, the extra deck is really kind of not that relevant, but we're gonna go over it anyway. We got the Dweller, because that doesn't really ever come up because it's hard to make. Castell, guess what? Hard to make. Baguski, hard to make, but can come up. This guy actually can come up more because he is a machine. I love number 27. I've said this in previous videos. I love this card. 3, Gigagan. This is literally like your main extra deck card. You go into this all the time, which is why you play 3. So if you have to banish one off of, if you end up banishing any off of Extrav, you still have some in the deck. So that's why I still play 3. That's why I do play 3. This I should say. 3 Granite. It searches your copies of Lord of the Heavenly Prisons. So why not? It doesn't really ever come up because you don't really. It's hard to make. All the rank 4s in this deck that are not machines are hard to make. I mean, Utopia, because I saw Lightning cheap and I needed room, so I put in the Utopia package. Yeah, cool stuffs. There could also be another cool thing about the Utopia package. You know, I call me a boomer or whatever, because I remember this is actually really fucking good. But if you had a Zeus, you could go that then Zeus and have more material on your Zeus. 1 Gustav Max, because big cannon go burr for game, basically. This card is also really good in time. Super Door, just something to make to sit on if you really have to. It doesn't really come up. And Liberty, whatever the fuck this big ass gun's name is. So yeah, like I said, you never really go into this. And this is the most organized extra deck ever stays, because I always keep this shuffled up anyway, because it's just extra food. Like I said, the only card in the extra deck that matters is your 3 copies of Gigagan X. These are literally, this is your extra deck, this is extravagance food, basically. That's basically how this deck works. So that's it for the deck profile. It's a really cool, different kind of take on what Machina is, because I know some people play like Earth Machines. I did my Vernal Sylph list with the Ishizu cards. I really like Machina, just being able to, just the versatility that the deck brings and the different stuff that it could do. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.